we're breaking into programming to bring you breaking news. A beautiful, clear Monday morning, but New England has experienced an earthquake.
This was a magnitude 4.1 earthquake.
Well, I tell you, folks were so frightened here in York, Maine. Some describe it as a bomb hitting their homes or a tree falling on top of their homes. They had no idea what was going on.
A bomb went off? That sounds dramatic.
I got responses like this. And like this. So...
Come to think of it, actually, no, that's not dramatic. Sounds kind of terrifying. Hence why today's video. I made today's video because I wanted to know, why do earthquakes happen in Maine? And could we get a big one, like they say that's going to happen in California every year? Or what type of earthquakes do we get? Are they caused by the same factors that happen in California, or is it something completely different?
So what do Mainers think about this? Well, I found this old report by Channel 6 reporter Cheryl Doyle.
Here in Maine?
It's possible, I suppose. I'm not quite sure, though.
I don't think about it ever. I know there have been.
So, do you think it could happen?
No. No, do you?
Remote. Are we supposed to have one?
I've never really considered it. I don't believe that we'll have one.
As you can see, Mainers in general are largely unaware of the seismic activity that's happening right under their feet. This is largely because a lot of the earthquakes that happen annually or even monthly are very, very small. As you can see from this map, Maine, in the upper right-hand corner, is labeled as a level 7, orange, which is a higher seismic activity and chance for a massive earthquake than well over half of the lower 48 of the United States. Maine averages about 5 to 10 mild earthquakes per year. Rarely any cause damage. However, this one in 2007 caused damage to some trails in Acadia. So how big does an earthquake have to be to cause damage? Well, earthquakes are measured on a logarithmic scale, which, for example, means a 2.0 magnitude earthquake is 10 times larger and more impactful than a 1.0. A 3.0 is 10 times more affected than a 2.0. Maine's quote-unquote big earthquake can be considered from a 4.5, which is expected every 24-ish years, to a possibility of a 7.0. On the Richter scale, an earthquake of this magnitude in Maine is only expected every 2,000 or so years. A unique feature of earthquakes in Maine is that they are equally dispersed in activity all across the state, with specific regions of Cobscook County in down east, Dover-Foxcroft in central Maine, and York County in southern Maine as particular hotspots, though their activity is measurable to other regions in the state. The largest earthquake recorded on Maine soil happened in Eastport, Maine on Cobscook Bay in 1904, rated as a level 7 on the modified Mercalli scale, which is the equivalent of a 6.0 to 6.9 on the Richter scale that is more commonly used. However, there was potential for an even larger earthquake that happened back in 1755.
Settlers felt one of the larger earthquakes in 1755. The tremor rattled from Cape Ann to Boston. Geologists believe it was close to a 6.5 on the Richter scale.
With the 1755 earthquake off of Cape Ann and the 1904 earthquake off of Eastport, it seems unlikely that another 6.0 or magnitude higher earthquake will hit Maine anytime soon. As for recent memory, we can go back to the Waterboro earthquake in 2012. This one was a 4.5 on the Richter scale and one that I remember very vividly. This earthquake shook all of York County and southern Maine. I remember playing with the dogs in the house. I think it happened in the evening, and it was just very loud. There was lots of shaking. It was definitely something to remember. We thought something in the neighborhood had exploded.
One of the fallacies about why we have earthquakes here in Maine is because we're on a major fault line. Well, it's only half true. We are on a major fault. It's called the Norumbega.
The Norumbega Fault Zone is an ancient fault zone from the Devonian period in Earth's history when continents collided about 380 million years ago. This region expands from Casco Bay in Maine, right around Portland, to New Brunswick. However, it is not considered active today in the same scope as, say, the San Andreas in California or other active fault lines around the world. Therefore, earthquakes are not caused by the same activity as in California because there is no land pressing against each other on this fault line. So why call it Norumbega? Well, this sent me down a complete rabbit hole. So Norumbega was a name told from Native Americans to early explorers about a city of gold and pearls and jewels located up the Penobscot River. Giovanni Verrazzano, exploring the coast of Maine in 1524, labeled the area above Penobscot Bay as Orenbega, hence basically declaring it as some sort of island paradise with some mystery city within the wilderness. The English and the French and others interested in claiming what we call today Maine hoped to find the gold and the silver that the Spanish conquistadors had discovered in the Aztec and Incan empires. However, when a sailor by the name of Champlain sailed up the Penobscot River in 1604, they only found a small Indian village and no gold. The name of Norumbega, according to one author, is an old Spanish word for Northman or Norseman, and that Maine got the name due to early visits from Vikings. Some say it is an Abenaki word, and that this is a sign that Maine was part of Vinland, the furthest extent of Norse exploration into North America over 1,000 years ago.
So why do we have earthquakes in Maine? According to Ebel, it's because of plate tectonics, a shifting of the upper crust of the Earth. Simply put, the mid-Atlantic ridge is spreading away from Africa and Europe. The other side of this ridge, part of the San Andreas Fault in California, is ramming into the Pacific Ocean plate.
So the middle and eastern part of the country squeezing motion, and you can't squeeze rock without having it break sooner or later.
While multiple theories do exist as to why Maine has earthquakes, none of them are definitive, meaning we really don't know why. Is it because of the ancient fault lines underneath our feet? Is it because of the current fault lines that exist in our world smushing us together? We don't know. Well, that all being said, there's nothing to fear. While seismic activity happens in Maine very frequently, and in neighboring Quebec to greater proportion, the chance for a major life-altering earthquake here in Maine is very, very slim, if not improbable.
According to the experts, the best place to be during an earthquake is in a wide open field. That way, no debris from falling buildings can hit you. But more than likely, when the ground starts to shake, you'll be in a building, and there'll be no time to think. Just react.
Well, Cheryl, 30 years later, that rhetoric still sounds pretty dramatic for a region like Maine. As I was researching, I found no reports of any injuries from earthquake anywhere in Maine's history, though media and news reports always like to hype it up, such as this report where it says if you go into your house and flip on a switch, you could blow up the home because of a gas leak. Goodness.
Hold that thought.
Don't worry, I survived, and as always, thank you for watching this video to the end. Please like and subscribe, and tell me what videos you want to see next. Have a groovy day.